Hi everyone. I'm going to be honest, I'm a bit late to the party now, but here it is, my big review on the Doctor Who 60th anniversary specials. Is that what we're going to call them? Are you sure we can't have a proper name for them, like a fan nickname for them? Because I feel like we should. I mean, the 50th anniversary had the Off the Doctor trilogy in a way. I'm not the only. I can't be the only one who says that as well. I'm sure there's other fans. I swear I read somewhere that people call the 50th anniversaries the Off the Doctor trilogy because of all the titles of the 50th had Off the Doctor in them. So for this one, for the 60th, do we have to call them the 60th anniversaries? Because I feel like we should give them their own name, like I don't know, the Doctor Donner trilogy or the 14th Doctor trilogy. I don't know. It's I'll let someone else decide, but that's what I would call them. Not the. I just feel like they should be called something better than the 40th and the 40th. Jeez, 60th anniversary. But that's me blabbing on. Let's talk about the specials themselves. So episode one, the Star Beast. Um, I like it. It's what I call a great introduction and a great reintroduction to not only as the series but to Rusty Davis's type of writing and the type of world that his Doctor Who is based in. Definitely has it's a great example of something that's familiar but slightly different to make it its own thing, and it definitely shows with how I mean, the style of writing is exactly how it was during the Rusty Davis era, but style wise and visual effects wise, my God, it was beautiful. It was pretty impressive what they've managed to accomplish with mixing practical with CGI, especially with Beat the Meep, who I will get to eventually. But first, I'm just gonna I might as well talk about the big thing. David Tennant as as the Doctor again. It's when you really think about it, it is a truly surreal thing to think for that we've actually got a previous actor playing a new. I mean, it's not a new thing. A previous actor playing the Doctor coming back in the show. It's not a new thing. Obviously, we've had multi Doctor specials before with former Doctors coming back. I mean, David Tennant is one of them. He came back for Day of the Doctor, but this was different because he was playing a new incarnation, which has never actually happened before. So, yeah, it did raise a lot of questions like why does the 14th Doctor have the 10th Doctor's face? And we do kind of get an answer, but I'll get to that when I talk about the third special. But when it was I'm going back to when it was leaked that David Tennant was coming back as the Doctor, and he had a whole new uniform with a new sonic screwdriver. A lot of people, there was so many rumors going around that he was the 14th Doctor, or he was a alternate version of the 10th Doctor. And it wasn't until, of course, Power of the Doctor revealed that, yeah, he is the 14th Doctor. And it did get a lot of people wondering, oh no, does that mean we're just going to get the 10th Doctor again? What's the point in that? Well, that's the one thing I've really got to admire about the 14th Doctor. Even though he's played by David Tennant, he does feel like a different Doctor from the 10th Doctor. It's I'm just so glad that's what they did. They could have easily made 14 just another just a 10th Doctor clone. But they don't. They actually do make him his own incarnation. He just happens to be played by David Tennant. Sure, he picks up a lot of his mannerisms and little traits that he had when he was the 10th Doctor, but apart from that, 14 does feel like his own person. And I'm not surprised that a lot of fans actually do prefer Tennant as 14 over the 10th. And I'm starting to prefer him over the 10th Doctor because he pretty much has all of the 10th Doctor's positive qualities, but none of his negative ones. Not saying that he's a more perfect version of 10. No, no, no. 14 does have his own flaws, which is one of them is he's much more emotional. He's a more emotional incarnation, and I'm very surprised. Well, I'm not, but okay, I'm not surprised that this is going down. They decide to go down this route with the Doctor now because if you really pay attention, I don't know if it's intentional, but if it is, I'm not surprised. But every time the Doctor regenerates, the Doctor after the previous Doctor is almost the complete opposite of what the previous Doctor is, and it it's meant to show how much they've learned from that incarnation. And yeah, when you think back to Jodie Whittaker's 13th Doctor, yeah, she was more sociable, yeah, she was more chatty, but she wasn't opened. If you think about it, she never really expressed how her real emotions to anyone, not even to Yaz. But with full well, okay, when I heard that Sooty Gatwa was going to be the next Doctor, I had a feeling, especially through all the leak photos of him and all the leak footage, I had a feeling that his Doctor is going to be more emotional and more sociable. He's not afraid to open up. He's not going to keep stuff secret anymore. And it does look like we're going to get that from what I've seen through previews and all that, but I wasn't expecting 14 to go through it first. I mean, yeah, when the Doctor starts saying how much he loves, Wilfred and how much he misses Donna, it was surprising seeing the Doctor this emotional and this connected with his emotions. And of course, there was a reason behind that, but I'll get to it when I get to that. But apart from that, I really have enjoyed having Tennant back, and I've really enjoyed the 14th Doctor. I'm not expecting him to be a. If you think about it, he's the only incarnation we can't really have other stories with because there's really no reason to. And again, I'll get to the reason why. Yeah, there's a lot of things to talk about. A few things to talk about this Doctor you can't really talk about until I mention the third special, which I'm not going to get to. I want to talk about the Star Beast first. So I'm just going to stop talking about the Doctor, how the Doctor was like in these specials for now, and move on to having Catherine Tate back as Donna, something that I never thought would ever happen. Well, at least not on the TV show. I know she came back for Big Finish, but everyone comes back for Big Finish. Even Christopher Eccleston came back for Big Finish, but yeah, I never would have thought that Donna would come back. And yeah, I was thinking how they're going to get away with it. Is she going to spend all 3 episodes just not getting her memories back, or what? Now, it is nice to know that, she had a life after the end of time, and she has a daughter now called Rose, who I'll talk about eventually. But the only thing I can really talk about with Donna is how they resolved the whole metacrisis thing. It makes sense. I think it does work. One thing I'm glad is they got over it in the first special. They knew what the fans were going to ask first, and they immediately solved it. And the reason behind it, her passing it down to a child, I can accept that. I mean, it's a science fiction show at the end of the day. If they can if they have a rational explanation behind it, I can do it. It wasn't like that, you know, it wasn't anything stupid, like the Doctor just knew how to do, bring her memories back without killing her. Now, nah, they did try to they did try to enhance the drama a little bit. Um, uh, apart from, uh, I I guess I can't really talk about that without mentioning the little, let it go line. I'm trying. I don't really want to bring up the politics of these specials. I really don't. I've seen what people have talked about online. I've seen other videos. I don't want to do that. I just want to talk about the show itself. I know there's some people who are gonna mention, well, you can't mention the show without mentioning the politics behind it, but I think you can. Just mention the bits that had nothing to do with the political side. And one of those things is Donna as a character. And, she I mean, I will be honest, she is kind of she's only really the focus of the Star Beast. And after that she pretty much takes up the usual companion role. And I think by the third special she's kinda pushed to the sidelines a little bit, but I can kind of forgive them for that because a lot happens in the third special, and we can't talk about the Star Beast without mentioning Rose, Donna's daughter. Uh, I've heard that she might be a recurring character. I really hope she is. Not because, well, okay, I'm going to elaborate what I'm trying to explain here. I wanted to come back just because I'm hoping she would be a bit more engaging. Because I didn't find Rose Noble, I didn't find her that engaging, unfortunately. I didn't find her that interesting. I get what they were trying to do with her, but there wasn't. All I really know, all I really know about her is that she's Donna's daughter, and that's really it. And again, I really don't want to talk about the politics side of it, but I really hope I really hope there's more to her than just being a mouthpiece. Oh, I'm really hoping I'm. Ah, see, I. This is why I don't want to talk about the politics because I'm worried I'm going to say the wrong thing. I mean, the only reason I'm bringing up Rose Noble now is because she played a key part in the episode, and yeah, I kind of want to stop there. So yeah, I'm moving on to something else about the episode, and that is Beat the Meat. Oh my god, please, please make Beat the Meat a recurring villain. I feel like we need more recurring villains like Beat the Meat. We need a we need a comedic villain, a proper comedic villain, and Beat the Meat, while threatening, is overall more of a comedic villain, and we need more of that in Doctor Who. Come on, Doctor Who can be campy. It doesn't mean all the bad guys have to be serious. So far, the only recurring villain that's a bit campy, in New Who at least, is the Master. And I feel like we need more. We need more campy villains. And that's bringing up to the Toymaker, who was a fantastic campy villain. But I don't want to talk about him until I talk about the Giggle. So I'm now going to move on to the second special, the Wild Blue Yonder, which is widely regarded as the best one out of the three because yeah, I can see why it did what Doctor Who was really good at, doing surreal horror and surrealism and horror and almost existential crisis as well. The very edge of the universe where anything could happen, the very edge of creation. It's a scary thought that there's actually it's a scary thought that there actually could be an end to creation. There's a very edge, and what's over there? What could happen? And that episode doesn't really answer it, but it does bring up the question, and that's why the monsters of that episode are not things. God, I love Eldritch villains and sci-fi because it's when it's something off-world, it's more terrifying. Much like the episode Midnight or what was it, Flatline. Anything that whenever the Doctor encounters something they don't know, it's always more terrifying. And the not things are like what I like about the not things as a concept is that they are pretty much they are they're an abstract idea brought to life. That's what they are. They give themselves life by seeing what they see, and they eventually get smarter over time. You know, they start developing intelligence, they start developing other emotions. It's until they're a perfect copy of whoever they're looking at, and even their memories as well. It's so creepy, but that's what Doctor Who's really good at when it does creepy stuff like that. But talking about the episode itself, it is a very, I mean, the camera work, I mean, okay, yeah, the background for the spaceship was a bit dodgy at times, but overall, like I said, the special effects are better than they have been. But then again, special effects weren't that bad during Whittaker's time. Well, not really. Well, they were. So, yeah. I'm trying to think about things to talk about. I am really trying with these review things, but yeah, just the overall atmosphere of that episode, it is chilling. It was the great. It is one of the good claustrophobic, alone with the monster vibe, with good camera work and good direction as well, and great acting by Tennant and Tay as not only as the Doctor and Donna, but also as their evil counterparts. I I suppose I suppose I can't really talk about actually before I move on with what I was going to talk about. What I really liked about Wild Blue Yonder is it shows how intelligent the Doctor is, and it's not always he doesn't they don't always need the TARDIS or sonic screwdriver. It does show how intelligent they actually are. Because yeah, because yeah, once I feel like whenever you put the hero in a situation where they get rid of their weapons or powers, it makes them more interesting, and like how are they going to get out of it without their usual stuff? Like it shows how well they can adapt to whatever situation they're in. And another thing I'd like to bring up, the fact that again, this is why I really enjoyed the 14th Doctor as his own character, that he it's like he is suffering from the previous in what his previous selves have gone through. And this is brought up in this episode with the flux. Something that was kind of looked over is now being brought back when it should have direct consequences, and it does now. It actually does have a direct consequence, showing his guilt with it. And one thing I've got to bring up about this episode is the marketing towards it. We knew nothing about this one. This one was filmed entirely in studio, so there was no leaked photos. And they did not want to bring up anything. And it did kind of leave into a slight overhype because a lot of people was expecting, oh, different doctors are going to appear in it. Oh, I bet different companions will show up, and they never do. And this is why you should never overhype yourself. So I had to stop there for a second, but I'm back now. So yeah, that was Wild Blue Yonder. I gotta talk about the giggle now. You can't talk about the giggle without bringing up the toy maker. Oh my god! The second I heard that Neil Patrick Harris was cast, I just knew that I knew what they were going to do with this character, and wonderfully camp, strangely intimidating, but yeah, it's the toy maker was great because you just didn't know what he was going to do next, and it showed how powerful he was. I know he was. I wouldn't say he was underused, but I feel like if this was a more, I kind of wish he was in all three specials in a way, because I feel like if he was in all three specials, I don't think they would have overstayed. I don't think he would have overstayed, but I think little hints of him in the previous two episodes and maybe show him how powerful he is would have been would have been fun to do with. I'm not expecting him to show up again anytime soon because, like I said, he is a bit OP when you think about it. So, yeah, but he was a great villain. I, like I said, we need campy villains like that just to steal the show. But there is a lot to talk about, like the whole. Let's be honest, the whole social commentary on that episode. It's not wrong. I get what they were trying to do, and I actually think it brought up a good issue. Really, there are some people who think they're always right, and it can get a bit. It can go a bit too far. Sorry, I had to stop again. Um, I suppose I can't. I've got to say the one big thing about the episode is, of course, the bi generation. Don't get me wrong. I the idea has kind of warmed up to me. I'm only if it's a one-time thing. Yeah, I can see why they've done it now. I didn't agree with it at first, but the idea has warmed up to me now. I mean, like I said, the idea behind it, giving the Doctor a chance to heal. In other words, give him a happy ending, but still continuing the show. It is something that only this show would do, and the second TARDIS idea though, I was a bit. I don't really like that idea. I think giving the Doctor the chance to have a normal human life, that would have been a lot more interesting and a lot more therapeutic for the character. But overall, it is nice to know that in some way the Doctor does have a happy ending, which is a first. Let's be honest. Um, we also find out the reason why 14 has 10's face, which is a good reason. No, but I can pretty much from what I could gather, 14 has 10's face because he subconsciously wants to, just retire and settle down. And I think the reason why it's Tennant's face particular is because the 10th Doctor was the most human, maybe, or at least the 10th Doctor actually was a human at one point from human nature and family blood, so he knows how to be human. I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that. That's just my own personal theory, but yeah, it's an interesting take on it. But like I said, I can only see. I think it's only going to happen this time. It's not going to happen again. But Suti Gatwa as the 15th Doctor, I'm looking forward to seeing him. I mean, he certainly made an impact, but see, the problem is that no matter how you look at it, the Giggle was a 14th Doctor story, and it was his story. And 15 yeah, we know he's the new Doctor now, but I'm just going to wait until the Christmas special to see how I really feel about him. But I'm looking forward to what I'm seeing. Bit of a pet peeve, but I'm just going to say I thought the ending was too happy. I mean, yeah, not only does 14 get to have his own life, but and his own TARDIS, but also gets to stay with Donna, and Donna gets to keep her memories. Is it bad to say I think that's a bit too happy? I kind of wanted a bit of sweetness, like, you know, 14 can have a normal life, but he can't hang around Donna anymore. He's got to stay low, or I don't know. He could stay with Donna, but he can't have the TARDIS. I just I just feel like the ending was a bit too happy. But overall, I've enjoyed the 60th anniversary, and I am really looking forward to where the future of the show goes. And all I've got to say is bring on number 15.